So the day has finally come, guys, for us to talk about the Wicked movie. So if you're new here, I love Wicked. I love musicals.
I remember in the moment asking myself, am I okay?
I've got Wicked Barbies. I got a popcorn bucket when I went to see it on opening night. I've even got the Aussie and glasses and this cute little M&S Christmas ornament. But today is going to be talking about, of course, the very anticipated Wicked movie. And I have to say, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet, it is magnificent.
This experience was like a huge, life-changing, crazy,
People think
emotional
we
thing.
need to go to an asylum. People think we need to be locked
We
up.
have therapists.
Yeah, we're
this
fine.
We're
just
good.
grateful
We're just really
people.
happy.
Ariana Grande kills it as Glinda. I knew that she was good at doing impersonations and stuff, but I've only seen her doing little sort of skits now and again. I didn't really grow up watching Nickelodeon. I've never actually seen her do any acting. I have to say, she absolutely kills it in this role. She is funny, she's charismatic, she brings depth to Glinda in ways I haven't seen before. I think she should definitely get an Oscar nomination for her work as Glinda. From the opening scene, No One Mourns the Wicked, I was absolutely floored. I love all the little nods to Wizard of Oz with the rainbow, the soprano aries she does, the way the fire lights the witch, the Munchkin Land. The way this film opens is chef's kiss, 10 out of 10. Like, the opening of this movie has been replaying in my mind since I saw it, and I've seen it twice in the cinema now because it's that good. If you didn't know, they chose to do live singing in this film. I think Ariana Grande deserves all the praise and all the flowers for this. She killed Popular. It was so funny and so quirky. I love that they've added new stuff without taking away from the original material. Doing this soprano, very Glinda-esque vocal riff. And I've also loved the way they've shot a lot of the songs in this film. They're very much shot like music videos. So Popular was shot in a hallway for some of it, with Glinda having this like pink light on her. John M. Chu's style creating these like climate or landscape that makes it feel more natural. But then we also have shots that feel more like a music video. So he's merged the two worlds quite well there. Another highlight for me, Ariana Grande, was when she performed with Cynthia Erivo, What Is This Feeling? Like that dance from the movie. You've probably seen it on TikTok and everywhere because it's gone pretty viral since the movie. It's iconic. The choreography in that scene literally made me fall in love with the song. This is otherwise a song I would have skipped, like listening to the Broadway recording, but it's been replaying in my house since the movie because I just love the way it's been filmed. I think everyone in that scene did such a good job. And for those of you who don't know, Ariana Grande actually has a Broadway background as well. She starred in 13, the musical on Broadway. I see a brand new... She said that before she even started auditioning and she just heard that, you know, the Wicked movie were casting and they were in circulation of auditioning, she started retaking acting lessons, singing lessons. I just feel like you could really tell that she's laid so much groundwork into this. So over to Miss Cynthia Erivo. Okay, so it goes without saying that Cynthia was born to play this role. That before the movie came out, there was a little bit of a controversy with her vocal performance in terms of like the battle cry at the end of Defying Gravity, because Idina Menzel's vocal riff at the end is what kind of is synonymous with the role of Elphaba. But I just have to say straight off the bat, I absolutely love what she's done with Elphaba and with this battle cry as well. I think it's so good that she wanted to make this character her own, because I've heard plenty of people do kind of a half-assed impersonation of Idina Menzel. I think acting-wise, the scene that kind of sticks out for me is the scene where she enters the Ustdust ballroom when Glinda's kind of played this prank on her. I think if you've ever been bullied or felt othered or just felt a bit different to people in general, I think this scene alone just proved what a really great actress she is. I also really love the friendship she has with Dr. Dillerman. I feel like in the movie they've really elaborated this relationship. In the musical, I really detested Nessa Rose. I thought she was so unlikable and so annoying. Sorry. But I just feel like they didn't flesh out her character, and she just was kind of like this ungrateful, spoilt daughter of the governor of Munchkinland. This Nessa Rose has so much more grounds in reality, and well about time that they've actually cast a disabled actress to play Nessa Rose, because she is the first and only one who's ever played a person in a wheelchair, and she's actually in a wheelchair, which, like, that doesn't make sense to me that they wouldn't have done that before. So happy she gets to play this character. She's brought, again, a very nice vulnerability to Nessa Rose. I feel like I sympathise with the character so much more now, like her wants and needs. I feel like she's bringing that schoolgirl naivete to it, you know, her crush on Bok and her just like hope for tomorrow. I feel like I can see a hopeful Nessa Rose being so excited to start shiz and meet all of her new friends. I also have to say, Cynthia, I really like her interpretation of The Wizard and I. She kind of speaks the lyrics more. She got to make more intimate choices because, again, what works on stage isn't necessarily always what works on camera. Have her dream about this bigger and brighter future meeting the wizard. It's really materialized. The scene where she jumps in mid-air is so wonderful. Just looking at the song without even hearing any song in it, I think just visually it's stunning. But I also love the choices she's made vocally in the song, because she's really building it up. She started quite soft, but then when she finally hits the last chorus and she sings The Wizard and I, it has such a bigger impact. Great singers will have dynamics in their performance and they won't just give it all away, because the girl can sing. Obviously, Defying Gravity is a masterpiece. Visually, we are getting a way different thing than what we get on stage. So obviously with CGI and the big practical effects they've used for the film, having Elphaba being able to actually fly and us actually seeing that as an audience, I think Ariana and Cynthia are both going to get nominated for an Oscar. So Elphaba was not originally in this movie going to go to shiz with Nessa, and she ends up going because the father is saying, take care of her for me, and then she accidentally just falls into, you know, causing a scene at campus, which makes Madame Morrible notice her and take her under her wing. I think this change from the musical actually makes so much more sense. It really showcases the relationship Elphaba has with her father. Like Madame Morrible, she's longing for that one great student who can do magic, who she can take to the wizard. It's kind of this match made in heaven. I predicted a while ago that we would at least have some kind of cameo from Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel. I predicted, though, I thought they would kind of split them up into two parts. I thought they would have one of them in part 1 and one of them in part 2. They made One Short Day into like this longer number, and they had a new section where Idina and Kristen Chenoweth appears as these kind of like sorcerer women. Stephen Schwartz, who wrote Wicked, was also one of the Ossian kind of generals. We talk about the sets and the practical effects in this film, from the Ossian train to the big hall, the kind of like market where you see all the merchandise you can buy in Oz, the big bright costumes, the train conductor. It's so fully realised, and I just love that practical effects are making a huge comeback, you know, into cinema again. One of my favourite portrayals in this movie is Jeff Goldblum as the wizard. I think he smashes it out of the park. The wizard in Wicked is supposed to be cunning, charming, and very, like, you're supposed to like him, and then all of a sudden he just turns and you don't like him anymore. He nailed that. Hadn't seen him singing anything before this, but I knew he had a jazz musician background. And also the way that he speaks to Elphaba about being like a father to her, kind of luring her in. Elphaba's ever wanted, I think, is a family and feeling like she's belonging. Jonathan Bailey time. So I love Jonathan Bailey. If you don't know, I am a massive Bridgerton fan, and his season of Bridgerton was by far my favourite. I think he is such a great actor, and I love his voice. I stalked him a while ago, singing the last 5 years, and ever since I have just been longing for him to do musical theatre. And the day has come, my friends, and oh my god, it's like above and beyond anything I could imagine. He's giving Gene Kelly in this movie. He did all of his own stunts. He's dancing on top of books. He's dancing on a rotating bookshelf. Like, what? Don't come for me, musical girlies. Fiyero in the stage show is my least favourite character. Usually he's like stale bread, and I kind of just can't wait for him to go away. I did not feel like that when Jonathan Bailey played Fiyero. I think, first of all, with them giving everyone more stage time, giving them more lines, dialogue, they've fleshed out his character so much more, and he's not just this handsome, haughty, like rich boy anymore. Really made me like Fiyero a lot more and kind of understand his character. Okay, so let's talk about some Easter eggs. I've already mentioned some, but in the beginning of the film, when we see the Yellow Brick Road and Munchkin Land, and we also see Dorothy, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, the Lion, I love that it starts that way, because we know that that's eventually where the story will end up. And the rainbows throughout the movie, there's one in the beginning of the film, there's one in The Wizard and I, and also the poppies throughout the movie, like I mentioned, Dr. Dillerman saying his favourite flower being the poppy, and also the scene where Elphaba puts everyone to sleep with the poppy dust except her and Fiyero, just like in the book where Dorothy falls asleep in the poppy field. Also, the obvious reference, like I've mentioned a couple of times in my videos, Glinda's dress being pink is an homage to the original Glinda the Good. The red ruby slippers that Glinda clicks 3 times in Popular is a reference to the Judy Garland red ruby slippers. That is so famous. How the silver shoes are in the shape of a tornado, which is what got Dorothy to Oz in the first place. The Universal logo being changed. Also the font used for Wicked is the same font as the Wizard of Oz logo, which is a nice source to the source material. Michael Rose, who played Fiyero in the Broadway show, is the lead male vocals on One Short Day. When Madame Morrible says to Elphaba, "We mustn't let you get wet," is a reference to, obviously, Elphaba or the Wicked Witch melting when she gets wet. And Madame Morrible, I don't want to talk too much about her because I feel like both in the stage show and the musical, she doesn't really have a huge part. The singing Michelle Yeoh did was like okay. It wasn't mind-blowing, it wasn't like over the top, but like it was kind of more of a speaking singing anyway, and I think she did a fab job. I think my favourite moment of Michelle Yeoh in this film is when she asked all of the flying monkeys to go after Elphaba, and her face goes from like being this lovely friendly person we've seen for the past hour to going to absolute vicious I can't say the B word on YouTube. It's so fierce. Absolutely loved it. It's a very exciting time to be a theatre fan. Seeing musical theatre movie like this get as much promotion and as much marketing as this has been really special, and I really hope it opens up the doors for more musical movies. We've been starved for them for far too long, and far too often it's been adaptations that have fell short, I think, because the studios have not believed in them enough and not been embarrassed about being a musical, like Mean Girls or Les Mis, for example. I just feel like we need to get back to musical movies being proud of being geeky, being proud of being over the top, because they only work when people who make it actually believes in it, and then also people who market it believe that it's something people want to see. And hopefully this has changed people's minds, because it's been hugely successful, and part 2 is probably going to be bigger and more people are going to go and see it. And I also hope this is going to lead to more conversations about pro shots and that kind of thing as well. It would be really cool to have a pro shot of Wicked as well, I'm not going to lie. I know we have this movie, but just having more pro shots in general is always a good thing as well. Making theatre accessible for people who cannot, afford to go to New York City or to London or wherever Wicked's playing. It's a fantastic thing. Because of the cost of living crisis that we're in and things like that, it's not always the best or the safest option even for people to go to the theatre. So it has some really serious theme of politics and discrimination, but then also the core and the heart of the story being about female friendship, which is not something we see a lot of in any media, I want to say. A story that just celebrates female friendship and the complexity of those characters. They want different things, but they also want to be friends. And sort of I love also the debate of like who's good and who's the good witch and who's the bad witch, because Glinda makes some not so fantastic choices in the second part. Elphaba also makes some not fantastic choices later on, but they come from people not treating her nice before. There's so much to discuss in the text of Wicked, and I just really think it's such a special piece, and I think they've absolutely nailed it, and I don't really have anything bad to say about this film. I think you all should just go and watch it. I'm probably going to go and see it for the third time this weekend. There's so much I could have talked about that I have undoubtedly missed, but this, I just wanted to get it all of my system and just say it is absolutely fantastic. Go and do yourself a favour, grab a ticket now, and if you enjoy the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up so I know how to make more Wicked content, and I'll see you guys in the future. Just follow the yellow brick road and click that subscribe button. That was really cheesy. Just follow the yellow brick road and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.